Hello, Alfred here, and welcome to the Alfred Kaiserega podcast. Well, today's podcast will be a very special one because I'll be posting it on YouTube. I've never posted on my YouTube channel before. My personal YouTube channel, the Alfred Kaiserega YouTube channel. I've only posted most of my podcast in Anchor, things like Spotify and all that. But as of the 14th of September, this will be an inaugural post. It's a special day because that's my birthday, so I decided also to post something on that day. That will be off tomorrow as this drops. Today is the 13th and this will be dropping on tomorrow as I record this on the 13th. Anyway, today what I want to really touch on is basically on a topic that what I would actually tell myself, the advice I'd give myself if I were to go back to my 20s. So the advice I'd give myself if I were to go back in my 20s, and to be exact, it would be 20 of them, 20 advices I'd give myself if I were to go back to my 20s. Stay tuned. Well, in no particular order, these are the 20 things I tell myself if I were to go back to my 20s. Well, the first one will be take care of your health. Well, basically, the cliche goes health is wealth, and this is very, very true. By the time you get older, you find your body gets a bit weaker, especially if you have not taken care of it. So things like simple exercises. You really do not need to do complicated things. Exercises and eating healthy. As we grow older, our muscles tend to get weak, especially when you're now way past your 40s. Your muscles lose its elasticity. So what will happen is that you get weaker. But if you exercises, especially lifting weights and making sure that your weight is up, basically what will happen is your muscles will tend to get stronger, and this is very good because it means that your body is more likely to function better. So if you do this exercising, whatever exercise you do, especially if you combine that lifting with cardio, it's not bad to be something fantastic. Couple that with healthy eating, making sure you're eating right, the right food, the right nutritious food with nutrients. Then overall, at least your body would not only look good, but you'll also feel good about yourself and your body. Number 2 will be taking care of your mental health. Well, this is a very important one for me because I've had mental issues in my past. So this one really hits home, and taking care of your health should also include your mental health. Obviously, your mental health is something that is very important, and doing the right thing, that you making sure that your health is kept things like making sure you're reading the right things, you're watching the right things, talking to the right people, and getting the right information. And instead of things that will derail you from what you particular are fond of, the right movies, the right music, you know, the right conversation with people. This usually affects you mentally, and if you tend to not do it well, or probably tend to listen to things that are not right for your mental state, then what will happen is that mental state will tend to deteriorate, and you may get mental issues, or just simply not be able to grow mentally. So feeding your brain with the right foods, as in right things, positive things, and hardly any negatives, is very crucial, because your mental state will kind of dictate where you'll be headed. If you do not take care of your mental state, then what will happen is you may deteriorate in all other aspects of your life. Number 3, and that will be another very important one, that will be to read. Basically, it all goes hand in hand with your learning, because learning is just as important. But reading is something that will take you even further in your learning process. So it's a very crucial thing to do. When you read, you're actually engaging with the author, and whatever you're reading, whether it's an autobiography or biography or something of the fiction within that line, you will be engaging, and then you're engaging almost all your senses with, especially your imagination. You try and create a picture of what the author is trying to convey, and there's numerous scientific studies and research that shows there's a big difference between readers and non-readers. Obviously, one thing is that most readers tend to be much more smarter, I guess, and they have more of a long-term vision towards their goals, and they tend to create more goals and succeed on those goals. And when I'm talking about reading here, I'm really not talking about your textbook or your school textbooks and all that. I'm just talking about reading mostly your field of interest, what you like to read, what you like to engage in, and this will truly help you on stretching and learning. Stretching your mind is the best way. You can do this the best way by reading and learning. So if you read anything, at least, then you tend to really be better, not only in recognizing things or understanding things, but also you get a better understanding of yourself too, as you try and relate to these authors and all that. Number 4 will be on time management. Guys, it's very, very important to manage your time. Your time is very, very important. Time is a commodity. As the cliche goes, time is money. And the way you use your time, right, it will pay off. If you don't use your time well, then you won't get the benefit of whatever you want to get. So time management is something very crucial. Make sure you're using your time correctly. I know you're in your 20s, but at the same time, right, at least you can go out there and party. You can go out there, do foolish things. It's your time to really go out there and experience things, whatever you like to do. But at least do that only 35% of those things. But at least 70% should be placed on doing what's constructive with your time. Then 30% you can do whatever. you know, do the partying, you know, do the chasing, women chasing, all that. But make sure you still have time and put aside time for the more important things, you know, learning, working on yourself, making sure you also working on your health. So all this needs time, and you're learning how to manage your time in your 20s will be very beneficial later on. Number 5 will be on money management. Here, guys, money management is very, very important. Your spending habits usually will follow you as later on in life. If you tend to spend your habits, rather your money in a more bad way, then that will also translate as you go older, because you maybe you get a better job that pays you well. Unfortunately, if you're not used to spending your money wisely, or spending it in the correct way on things that are assets and not liability, or things that bring you a better or put you in a better situation, then what will happen is that you will tend to squander your money. So learn early how to manage your money, how to spend it correctly on things that are important, things that you need, and not necessarily things that you want. So your money management and financial management should be on point, so you know exactly how to spend your money. Another advice, number 6, will be just enjoy your 20s, man. There's a old saying, not that old. It was, I think, Drake was the guy who popularized this YOLO thing. The YOLO, you only live once. Yeah, in your 20s you can experience things. Make sure you go out there, experience life, you know, go clubbing, go partying, you know, like I said before, but make sure that this is only 30% of your time, you know, weekends and all that. Then the rest you can do better things with your time, but go experience things, experience life. It's your 20s. You go out there, be out there, whatever you're passionate about, whatever your interests are, make sure you experience them. Don't really hold back, mostly, especially if it's nothing that's dangerous or something, nothing that's crucial to your health or your life. Go out there, experience, you know, mingle, you know, socialize and all that. Experience life. It's very important. Your 20s, because also you never know, you might be too busy in your 30s, you know, building up, you know, you might be coming across your businesses might be catching up, or your work you might be taking much more of your time in your 30s and your 40s. So your 20s, just right after you maybe got out of your parents' house, or maybe you're in college, that's the time to experience, especially your early 20s. Number 7, this is one of those things I wish I knew, and I really took for granted. This is to learn a skill, or at least perfect a skill that you have. Having a skill, guys, is very important. Besides having a college degree, or having some sort of a master's or degree or something, or scholarship thing, having just a skill, even if it's a skill that you got from school, but just having a skill, a simple skill such as welding, you know, woodwork, piano playing, you know, even playing an instrument, all that really it gives you some sort of leverage in life, because even if you have a job that you're working on and you lose it, your skill you can still be backed up by your skill that you've obtained. You might decide to go out there and produce music or something, or just create something. Especially when you get older, then you tend to lose passion for your job, even if it's paying well. What will happen is that you tend to want to do what you're passionate about, what your innate ability are able to accommodate in you. So what you'll do is you try and bring back what you used to do back as a young guy, or maybe football. You try and do that. But if you hone your skills, then you're more likely to be passionate about life, because it keeps you passionate, it keeps you going in life. Number 8, slow down. At times you need to slow down. You might be going very, very fast. Just try and slow down. Smell the roses, chill out. Don't go way too fast. When you're in your 20s, you might be worried that your friends are now getting jobs. What basically they're doing is they're passing you by. Life is passing you by now. It's just it's their turn, right? It's people's turn. Besides, a lot of people, when they're in their 20s, they're going fast nowhere, because you really think you're just starting out in life. No one really figures things out in their 20s, especially these days. Just slow down, and don't compare yourself to people. If you're in your 20s, just keep on working on yourself, work on your skills, and something will happen soon. So you shouldn't worry about your peers passing you by, buying those cars, buying the houses. Soon enough, if you continue working on yourself, working on skills, working at your job, learning, then definitely you will get your time too. So sometimes slow down and read the situation, learn about yourself more, and what you can contribute to this world. Number 9 will be to cultivate good habits. Good habits, guys. This is a basic asset you can have, because once people know that you have good habits and you're a person who can easily be relied on, it's a good asset, because it means you have a good reputation. Your reputation may break you or make you. So if you tend to be known as someone who is trustworthy, who's got a good reputation by others, then people can trust you and will tend to will be prepared to do more business with you, do their own business with you, or just overall trust you with whatever they have. So be trustworthy, cultivate these good habits in life, so that all this will later on translate to being more trustworthy in life and have a good reputation. Number 10, a very, very important one, especially for a man in general, and that's discipline. Discipline is one of those things that a lot of us, especially my generation, we lack, because maybe we really did not have parents around who would give us discipline. But discipline is something that everybody should, especially every man, should cultivate. If you tend not to have discipline, this will show. You tend to degenerate. You won't really be able to focus on your goals or do the things that's needed to be done, and you won't tend to do the right thing most of the time. You won't do the right things because you lack discipline. Without discipline, you really won't be able to get to your goals, because you tend to put them off, and you will be acting mostly on your impulses. We can see this with people who are overweight or who are obese. A lot of them just simply do not have the discipline not to overeat. They don't have the discipline to exercise or keep with the exercise routine. They do not have the discipline to wake up and do what they're supposed to do. If you can at least do one of those things, right, like discipline just your eating habits, making sure that you eat the right, then this can at least translate and overall help you in other sort of discipline, because discipline is kind of a learning behavior. If you are disciplined in one area, you will tend to be disciplined in other area of your life. But unfortunately, a lot of people lack discipline, and so that's why they tend to degenerate. And if you degenerate health-wise, what will happen is that your mental state and your physical state will now degenerate, and then this will actually show. You're overweight, you will be anxious, you will also be depressed. A lot of this depression and anxiety can just be simply avoided if you had discipline. Number 11, and that will be watch out for the traps that await in your 20s. Well, your 20s is full of fun and games that you should experience, like I said, but chasing things that are unnecessary will tend to trap you in a place that you may tend to be in a loop, or be in a loop that continuous loop that you may be going on and on. Things like chasing women, chasing sex, liquor, drugs, and consumerism. All those are traps, and not that these things are bad, right? But if you now have to rely on these things for your happiness, or for you to now be happy, or for validation of these things, then you will be in danger of being an addict of sort, right? For example, liquor. Nothing wrong with drinking, right? Having a pint of beer here and there, during the weekend is good. But then if now that becomes habitual, and eventually becomes addict, you become an addict to these vices, then it becomes a problem. And a lot of the time we get these sort of vices in our 20s. So try really to, you don't need to avoid them, but make sure that you can recognize them and limit yourself with these sort of things, whether it's sex, whether it's women, liquor, drugs. Those are just the more famous trappings of your 20s, but I'm sure there are many more. Make sure you're able to recognize them, and you limit your association with such activities. Nothing wrong with experiencing them, but you should know yourself and make sure that if it's not for you, you don't need to continue with such thing. I'll give you an example. A lot of my peers, when they drink, you can tell that they're just doing it to cover up their sorrows, to cover up limitations, and they're drunkards now. Being a drunkard simply means that you're going below in life. You're going low in life. You don't want to seek help. It's best to seek help, but you just don't want to, or you think that drinking will now solve your problems. No, it won't. If you're not going to go and solve the underlying problem to your drinking, then things are just going to get worse. Same thing with drugs, just the same thing with sex. You can never have enough sex. So looking for pleasure in all these things, that's just a call for trouble. And what will happen is you just be depressed and anxious. You just fall into the depression of all these things. So make sure in your 20s you learn how to limit yourself. Number 12, having a purpose. Now this is one of those very important ones, and unfortunately it's also a tricky one, because no one can teach you what your purpose is. You have to find it out yourself, and it may take longer than than you know. But if you are working on yourself, it may be easier, because once you get to your 30s, then you know exactly what to do. But having a purpose is anything, just a simple purpose that will keep you busy through your 20s is very crucial, because you tend to see people who have no purpose. These are the very same people who fall into depression, who fall into anxiety, mental state deteriorate, and because simply they're not working on things that they have to do, especially if they're not passionate about those things. But having a purpose at least will make you stay grounded, will keep you grounded, and it will also help you to see where your life vision lies. This way, your purpose will guide you through life. But it's not that easy. Not everyone gets to know their purpose in their 20s or even their 30s. Some may go even later. But if you want to search for your purpose, if you want to, like I said, be creating your skills, doing your skills, doing something that's constructive and productive, then surely you will stumble upon a purpose for you. Number 13 will be to make friends. Guys, making friends is very crucial in your 20s because this is when you have to learn how to socialize, mingle, communicate. Making friends, and also making sure that you learn how to socialize is very crucial. You may not grow with your friends. Some you may grow with them, some you may grow apart, but just making friends will make your life easier in your 20s, because this is your learning. You're in a learning curve, right? So as you make friends, you'll know what kind of people you like to associate with. You'll even know what kind of person you are, right? Because this will show from the kind of friends you're attracted to, right? So making friends in your 20s helps a lot. It also makes you a better person, because you'll learn how to relate to different type of people. Also, friends will be there to help you, if you get the right friends. That is, if you're lucky enough. Not everyone gets the right friends, but having friends there when you're low, or maybe you're even broke, some can help you out with a few money here and there. Also note that not a lot of people will be your friend. Some will obviously be hypocritic, but that's a learning experience, so you should be happy about that, because then when you're older, you know how to recognize such people who are there for you, people who won't be there for you, people who are there for you for a certain reason, or they want to take advantage of you. Then you learn how to recognize. If you do this in your 20s, then when you're in your 30s, it will be easier, especially if you want to be that kind of person who has to socialize a lot, who has to go out there. Maybe you have to create a business. So with this experience, you'll know how to relate, you'll know what kind of people to talk to and all that. So friendship is very important. And like I said, note that not every friendship will last, obviously, but some may last to your 40s, even to your later on, so that's the best part of friendship. Make sure you make good and cherish these friendships. Number 14, this will be on women. When you're in your 20s, your hormones are all over, but one thing you should know is that women, basically, they're not mystical creatures, nor are they an enigma. It's just our imagination that makes us think so. Women are what they are. Most of the time, they're just like children, so you just be indifferent to them. That's how you can treat them. You shouldn't invest much on them unless maybe you're planning to marry one and you think she's the one or something like that, and you think you can really create a life with them. But if you're still in your purpose, you're still searching for yourself, searching for that thing that will be your life purpose. Just take women as they are, and don't invest much time or no energy on them to be a waste of time, a waste of energy, and obviously do not spend much money if you cannot afford it. But it's good for the experiencing, talking to them, communicating, and doing all sort of things, whether it's intercourse or things like that. If you're unexperienced, that's good, but don't put too much energy. You rather put your energy on your purpose, on what's constructive, on assets, buying assets or acquiring assets, because all in all, women aren't much of an asset. So they are what they are. Recognize that women are more like children. They should be treated the same until they can prove they can be treated as adults, because most women want to be treated as adults, but they want to act like children. So treat them accordingly, and don't invest much and don't get attached to them. Number 15, that would be, you should learn how to differentiate between good advice and the right advice. So that's good advice versus the right advice. Well, in a nutshell, the good advice usually is general advice, like a doctor tells you to eat healthy without being specific on what to eat. Anybody telling you something which sounds good but really doesn't go into the specifics of it, that's good advice. But make sure that it's good and the right advice. Now, the right advice would be something that's more specific, especially more specific to you. If I tell you to go exercise, right? You come for advice and you probably tell me you're overweight. I tell you have to exercise, or at least I go further and tell you exercise. Just go run so that you do cardio. But at the same time, you are not a runner. You don't like running, right? So it's good advice, but really not right for you. But maybe you like biking. You have a bike, and instead of running, because running and biking, they're both cardio. They both work the cardiovascular muscles, and you tend to lose weight. At least you burn enough calories. Now, depending on how much exercise of each you're going to perform, you're basically going to lose the same amount of calories, taking in the fact that you'll be putting the same amount of time and energy in it. So if I tell you, hey, go biking, now that's the right advice, because it resonates with you. You're a biker. You like biking. You can also simply get a stationary bike and just bike. Go to the gym and just bike, cycle, or just buy a bicycle and then ride it. So that would be the right advice, and it's the right for you, and not just good advice that is general. But again, the right advice, usually you are the one who's supposed to come up with it. If I give you a good advice, you should now use your brain or use your own experience to know what the right thing to do is. Don't just wait for someone to always give you the right advice, because you may never know. There's obviously that you can try, but if it doesn't work for you, find what's right for you. So know what's the right advice and good advice, and then work on them and differentiate them, and this will really help you in the long run, because once you know the right things to do, you'll tend to do more of them. Number 16 will be to really think highly of yourself. Now, thinking highly of yourself simply means have confidence in your ability, have confidence in yourself. And I'm not talking about being egocentric or having a big ego of a sort, but always think highly of yourself. Don't let anyone put you down or try and stomp on your dreams, because a lot of people have realized the only reason they do not want you to go for your dreams or to really make yourself a better version of yourself. It's because they themselves have failed to do so and they're stuck. And so you going after your dreams, you doing better, you working out, eating healthy, doing the right thing, that reminds them that what they could have been. And as you go up and things are getting better for you, it reminds them. And instead of cheering you up or cheering for you or applauding you, what they tend to do is feel jealous and tend to they want you not to get to your dreams, they want you to fail. So if you think highly of yourself and don't let anybody try and put you down, you'll gain the confidence to do better each and every day. The haters will be there and they'll always be there, but just ignore them, keep them at bay, make sure they do not enter your mind, don't give them free rent on your mind. Think about them, analyze them, and then put them off. Just ignore them after that, because haters, they don't actually hate you. What they hate is themselves, so you can't really help them in that matter. So make sure think highly of yourself, have that God confidence, not just confidence but that God confidence, because you know your God-given abilities and they're working for you. And if someone else's fails, and because they failed, they want you to fail, put them off, keep them at bay, do not associate with them, and keep on moving, continue on your journey. Number 17 will be create your own principles, creeds, and your own morals. Your own principles will keep you grounded. Principles are good because you know what to work with, how to work, how to navigate the hierarchy of life within the principles of yours and the principles of nature and the principles and laws of whatever land you dwell in. This will be good because now you'll be more conscious, both conscious and cautious of yourself. Having your morals, I believe that people should have their own morals. Morals are subjective, but as long as they do not impede or in other people's morals, they do not hurt or they're not against the laws of the lands that they dwell in or whatever place they dwell in. Morals should be right, they'll be correct according to the individual, but they should not go against nature nor other laws that are out there that are supposed to protect people or protect whatever else is around that place. So your morals should be yours, but make sure that they are good, principled, right? That's why I do not really prescribe to religious morals, because usually they are against I feel like they are usually against my nature. For example, I feel like sex before marriage isn't a bad thing. Why should I wait till I marry to have sex? Besides, I know I'm not the only one. Everybody else is doing it, but they're just hypocritical about it. They hide on all that and all that. But if I feel like I'm going to have sex, privately at least, I'm gonna do it, right? But it's within my morals. I don't go out there and preach to people that they shouldn't be doing it because religion says this and this. Religion is religion, and I am me. So there's some principles that I take from religion that I feel that they're okay, but things that I feel that they come natural to me, so I'm going to act upon them. And this is how I also get a lot of my morals too. But my morals are good, as I can believe, and they're within principle. They're very principled, and they're within the laws of nature. Number 18 will be evolve and adapt. Evolving and adapting is something very crucial. A lot of people are usually left behind in life because they fail to evolve. And evolving, as much as it seems difficult, it pertains to change. If you're unable to change with the times, you'll tend to be left behind and because your old thinking ways will keep you stagnant where you are. Because life in general is always changing. Life is change, basically, and if you're unable to change with it and adapt to the changes or the coming changes, or at least try your very best to jump on those trends that are coming up, then you'll tend to stay stagnant. So evolving is part of life. It's basically changing into someone that can be better adapt to the new changes of life. There's no stopping change. Change will always come, no matter what. It may take long, it may take decades, it may take years, but change will always be there. Now it's up to you to position yourself. How you position yourself is that's the way you evolve. And the best way I do it is I try to be the best version of myself, the God version of myself, where I can easily adapt to any situation that comes. It takes hard work. It means that you have to be working on yourself almost every day, getting information that will help you adapt and evolve, doing the right research on what is happening, knowing your surroundings, knowing the trends that are coming. So all this will help you adapt to the evolving world. So evolving is very important. Make sure you're the best version of yourself and evolve into something that's greater than who you were yesterday. If you're still the same person today as you were yesterday, then what will happen? You'll be left stagnant, and this is another reason that you always be complaining about you not having money, always complaining about you in the same place, always complaining about women, always complaining about things that you yourself can change. Another thing that's closely related to evolving would be having a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset means frequently learning, especially learning new ways of doing things. If you are a doctor, whether a physician or just a chemist, you should learn what are the new equipment that is in your field, what are the new things that are happening in your field. Always learning. That's why the sort of experts, they usually have newsletters, they usually have journals that keep things up to date. So always be learning, always be growing your mindset. If you're not going to be learning what is happening in your field or what is happening in general in life, you tend to be stagnant. It's also related to the evolving part that I just mentioned. So one way of doing evolving also is having a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset is very, very important. Don't be caught up on the old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things. You can always adapt new ways of doing things. If you're still using those phones, right? The old phones, the ones with the hush buttons, and not using these new touch screen phones, you'll tend to be left behind because you won't have the new tech that is happening, but having a touch screen phone, these iPhones or Android phone, you will tend to be more informed, because a lot of the time you'll have with you the news, you'll have information within your palm, as opposed to those who do not have such and are still stuck in the ways of having those old sort of phones. And the number 20, the last but not least, is being positive. One way, life is harsh, life is tough, but if you stay positive most of the times, then things may get a bit better, and with time things will be less harsh. Let's face it, as for us men, things aren't as easy as a lot of people think that it is. A lot of us have to struggle one way or another. We have to struggle, whether financially, physically, mentally. We have a lot of responsibilities we bear, and so staying positive will keep you going. Staying positive will help you see life just a little bit easier, and loosen the heavy weight that usually comes with life. Being positive in life really helps, but also while being positive, you should also be realistic about it. Positivity should go hand in hand with being realistic. Don't just be positive for the sake of positive, but be realistic in life. Realize what is needed to be done. What are the things that you have to do in order to get to your goals, and then be positive as you execute on those goals so you can go far. And being positive is one of those things that will mitigate your harshness. If you tend to fail, as we all do, we tend to break down. We tend to get depressed at times. We get anxious, but staying positive and then carrying on can get us far. We'll be able to get up once again, and then try again. Staying positive is one of those things that will help you in life to get up and keep on going. And a bonus, I'm going to talk about this bonus. This is a cliche, but it's nevertheless a very important one. That passion is very important. Having passion for life, passion for what you do, it's very crucial. It's something every man should have a passion for something. If you're a writer, have passion for it. If you're an actor or a producer, have passion for it. Passion is one of those things that will keep you going also, because you love what you do. Passion basically means you love what you do, whether you're getting something from it or you're not. You just love doing it. It's something innate. It's that ability that's that God-given, or the God self, that ability that's within, and not many have it. But again, in your 20s, it's not easy to find your passion. You're still working on yourself. You're still doing things. And for those fortunate enough to find their passion, all is good for them. But it does not mean that your passion usually does not mean it translates to getting money, because at the end of the day, you need to get money. But having that passion also helps, because sometimes for the lucky ones, their passion can give them money, can get them money, right? At times you may have to work, get a job while you're working in your passion. So you have to balance these things out. But all in all, having passion for your life in general, for what you do, is very important, because you tend to love your life better. You tend to love what you do better. And this is by having a passion. Even if, what I've noted, a lot of people, those who get a lot of money, let's say they have a good job but have no passion for it, tend to be more miserable than those who get less money but are passionate of what they do. As for me, I love writing. It is one of my passion. I love writing. If I were to make let's say enough money just to live the life that I live, then I'll be set for life, because I don't think any amount of money would help me out. Yes, would I like to be a millionaire? Most definitely. Even if a billionaire, I'd love to experience that. But at the end of the day, money is just that. It's a tool. It's supposed to bring you things. It's supposed to get you somewhere. But if you're lucky enough to get the money from your passion, the money that you want, the money that you need, then kudos to you. You've been blessed by the gods. Anyway, guys, those have been that's been my advice, my 20 advice, my 20 plus 1. Obviously I gave you guys a bonus, and that's my advice to you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to get help from these, and stay tuned for more these podcasts that I hope I'll be dishing out. It's from me, Alfred, to everybody else. Peace.